Pleased to have on the show. Joining me now, Jeff Fisher. How are you, Coach?
Doing well, Rich. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. So the play Mountaineer, named after the two guys who were involved in it, that was put in just on Wednesday by your special teams coach, John Fossil?
Yes. Coach Fossil and I met Wednesday evening and kicked it around and installed it Thursday and walked it on Saturday. And you saw the results. It was really exciting.
So what did you see?
Especially for the players.
Yeah, what did you see on film? Because how does this get spawned, Coach?
Well, Seattle is a very, very well-coached special teams unit, and they're very specific. They're very deliberate, and they just out-execute you. And basically, we noticed that that Ryan's punts were, as they were going in, were really landing in the same vicinity. They were all landing to our right over on the numbers with great hang time. And we did some research. We pulled up a tape, a play from Bears. It was, Chicago against Green Bay 6 or 7 years ago. They did it with Hester. Same thing. Hester went running to one side of the field. Everybody chased him, and the ball was fielded. And the same result. Problem was it was a holding penalty, so it was called back. And so we just felt like there was nothing to lose and everything to gain there. If we got the kick, then instead did have an opponent nearby, he was going to let it bounce, and we'll deal with the result, whether it was a touchback or it was down. And but instead broke away clearly. Then we said, go ahead and try to field it, and we'll get you an escort up the sideline. And that's exactly what happened.
It's a rarity to see the fake return on a punt. Later in the game, you did the conventional just fake punt with 3 minutes to go. What is your mindset calling that? I'd love to know, because so many people say, well, you get run out of town if it doesn't work, but you're the head coach, and I'd love to get your mindset and your thought process as you call that.
Honestly, I've never worried about being run out of town. I'm trying to win games, and that's part of it's part of our game plan. And people know we carry those things in every week. We work that many times. John Hecker, as a matter of fact, he stays after practice with those guys and works throws with them. And so, I just felt at that point Russell had a hot hand. We could not stop him. He was running all over the yard, making plays. And, I just felt like we needed to steal a possession. And I was concerned about punting the ball away to him, considering we were only up by 2. And then the downside would have been, okay, I've got a couple timeouts, a 2-minute warning. If we don't execute, hold them to 3, I still got time to kick the winning field goal. So I just felt that was the best chance. And oftentimes when no one expects those things, that's when they're successful.
And very well it's a week-to-week league. That's done. Now you got another one with the Chiefs, and it seems that Austin Davis is coming along nicely just by watching the games and seeing it behind the scenes, having a third-string guy now suddenly being the guy, despite him being the big man on campus, breaking all Brett Favre's records in college. How has he been for you, Coach, and you coaching him up?
No, he's been really good. He's a great teammate. He's outstanding in the huddle. He's that guy that's going to be here till 8 or 9 o'clock on Friday night, all by himself watching tape. I mean, he knows how to prepare. He's got a good feel for our offense. Rich, he and Shoddy have been together now for 3 years, and he got his opportunity, so he knows what to do. I mean, Seattle's defense is outstanding. It's hard to make plays, and, he was very patient. He was 18 for 21 against that group, and, that for us is the difference in the game. His fourth quarter drive against Seattle, where he went 80 yards with a key throw to Chris Givens, was a huge throw, and I thought we'd find out a little bit more about him Monday night because of the emotions associated with that. He was just calm and collected, and just he knows what his job is, and he's determined not to hurt the team. He just wants to play the position, and thus far he's played it pretty well.
And Coach, I know only I have you for another minute because you're game planning, and I appreciate the time you've given me. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you a competition committee question before you go, because you've been on it for a long time, and we know that the flags that we're seeing on defense, the emphasis on defensive holding and illegal contact came from the competition committee saying to the league and the refs, this is an emphasis we want. For a lot of fans, it's really infuriating seeing the number of flags and an uptick. A lot of these plays happen away from the ball. They happen on third downs when the first downs that are given are so crucial. How about from your position so far?
This didn't originate with the competition committee. It originated with the club level. It was a survey that was sent out to the clubs, and the clubs were concerned about OPI, about DPI, and about defensive holding. And so that's where the discussions start when they're brought to the committee from the clubs. So that's where it started. We looked at it. We put a point of emphasis in, and I know the numbers were way up in the preseason. They're still up, but that's the direction we're headed. And you're seeing results, and I've been falling victim to those type of things, those calls that should not have been called, that were not fouls, and that's just, unfortunately, that's just part of the game. We hope they don't come, as you say, on key third downs. And I'm looking at my third down stuff right now, and I've probably got 5 in the last 4 games, and they're backbreaking. But, those things need to be cleaned up.
Coach, appreciate the time. Thank you. We look forward to the next time.
All right, Rich, thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, you bet. Of course, anytime. That's Jeff Fisher, the coach of the St. Louis Rams.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern, on Audience.